Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to share with you a testimonial on manifestation, something that actually happened the following day. This person in this testimonial created some and used a specific technique for manifesting something to happen, and the following day, very, very quickly, it manifested into her world. So I'm going to share with you that story here. This is case 5 from Neville Goddard's Power of Awareness. This case is especially interesting because of the short interval of time between the application used of the law of assumption and its visible manifestation into the 3D world. A very prominent woman came to see me in deep concern. She maintained a lovely city apartment and a large country home, but because the many demands made upon her were greater than her modest income, it was absolutely essential that she rent her apartment if she and her family were to spend the summer at their country home. In previous years, the apartment had been rented without difficulty earlier in the spring, but the day she came to me, the rental season for summer sublets was over. The apartment had been in the hands of the best real estate agents for months. So she was trying to rent this house out for months with the best real estate agents, and she could not get it rented. Okay, so keep that in mind as this story progresses. But no one had been interested into coming to see this apartment. Regardless of how many real estate agents she had was showing the house, nobody wanted to rent this house. And when she had described her predicament to Neville Goddard, he explained the law of assumption and how it works and how it could actually solve her problem. That she could solve this problem with her imagination using the law of assumption. And Neville Goddard suggested that by imagining the apartment had been rented by a person desiring immediate occupancy, and by assuming that this was the case, her apartment actually would be rented. In order to create the necessary feeling of naturalness, the feeling that it was already a fact that her apartment was rented already, I suggested, or Neville Goddard suggested, that she drift off into sleep that very night, imagining herself not in her apartment, but in whatever place she would sleep were her apartment suddenly rented. So what Neville Goddard here is suggesting, which I really, really like, is he's teaching her to attack it indirectly. Instead of attacking it directly by creating a new tenant, like she's meeting with a new tenant that's moving into her current residence, rather she's creating a scene to the end. She's going all the way to the end, which would imply that she did have a new tenant already, which is sleeping in the residence that she wants to be in, her new dream home. She's no longer sleeping in her current residence, but she's sleeping in her dream house, okay? So she's attacking this indirectly, which I really, really like. And my grandfather used to tell me about this all the time. It's a very powerful way to create because you have less of an attachment to it. You're actually letting things happen. The things that are supposed to happen in between, just allow those things to happen, go to the end, and then create that without actually worrying about the little things, about the tenants and everything. That's what a lot of people get stuck on, is the things in between. Just go to the end and let everything just work itself out on its own. Don't worry about the things in between. Just go to the end and just allow it to happen. Okay, so the interview took place on Thursday. At 9 o'clock the following Saturday morning, she phoned me from her home in the country, excited and happy. She told me that on Thursday night, she had fallen asleep actually imagining and feeling that she was sleeping in her other bed in the country home many miles away from the city apartment as she was occupying. So she did this one night, okay? So she did this Thursday night. She did this one time, and then on Friday, the very next day, a highly desirable tenant, one who met all her requirements as a responsible person, not only rented the apartment, but rented it on the condition that he moved in that very day. So this is why I like this testimonial the most, or one of my favorites, is because how fast this actually worked. She visualized this Thursday night, and by Friday, the very next day, the tenant actually moved in. Like, she actually had a tenant contact her and actually moved in the very next day. I mean, some could argue that this happened so quickly because it wasn't that big of a deal, but if you look at it if you look at it, that she had hired all the the best real estate agents to try to rent this property out and try to find a tenant, but they could not do it. They did this for several months. Okay, they did this for several months trying to find a tenant that matched everything that she needed. A responsible person that she could trust, that could move in immediately. But as soon as she used the power of her imagination, she had a tenant the following day. There's no coincidences there. The power of imagination, the law of assumption, works if you apply it. If you are being a doer and not just a hearer only, you're actually using this for things in your life. So if you're watching this video and you find yourself in a similar predicament, maybe not real estate, maybe not trying to get a new house or find a new tenant, but something similar to that, try this method. Try sleeping in your new residence or being somewhere that implies that you are already in the end, and then let everything work out. So if there's all these circumstances in your world that aren't making it happen, use the power of your imagination. Just try it one time and see what happens. Maybe you've been watching these videos and you've been seeing these testimonials, you wanted to use it, but you just really haven't done it. Maybe push yourself to the next level after seeing this testimonial. Just try it out for yourself and see if it works for you. All right, guys, that is the end of this video. I'm going to give you a brief recap. Okay, so this comes down to a woman that was trying to move into her dream house, okay? And in order for her to move into her dream house and be able to afford that dream house, she had to rent out her current residence. So she hired all kinds of real estate agents, and for months and months, they weren't able to rent this house, so she wasn't able to move into her dream home. So she met with Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard explained to her the power of assumption, the power of your imagination, and told her, no longer sleep in your current residence. Go to sleep tonight in your dream home. Go to sleep tonight in your imagination, already in your dream home, and then allow everything else to work itself out. So she took Neville Goddard's advice, did this one time. She fell asleep in her dream house one night, and the very following day, she had a new tenant move in directly, and it was a perfect tenant. It was a tenant that was responsible, a tenant that she could trust, and a tenant that could move into her current residence immediately. So this technique worked in one application. She slept in her new house one night, and then the following day, it all came into fruition into her 3D world. The naturalness took place. Everything connected. She transferred to the parallel reality that was congruent with her current being of living in her new residence, which caused it to happen almost immediately, like in a short amount of time. All right, guys, I love you guys very much. And don't forget to give me one thing you guys are grateful for in the comment box below, and leave any comments, anything you guys want to add to this. I want to know all your ideas. And beware of the scammers in the comments replying to you saying that they're me. They're impersonating me. That is not me. I'm never going to ask you to contact me at a specific number or WhatsApp or Telegram. Those are scammers. So do not respond. Do not act on those. Just report those. All right, guys, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.